All right, perfect. Got it. All right, let me first start by saying, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I greet my family in the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. That simply means peace be unto you. Um,
Walaikum salam.
yes, sir. Thank you, beloved. My name is Brother Herman Muhammad. This is a Zoom call from 1,000 Black Men Lead On. 1,000 Black Men Lead On. Our inaugural or first event was an event that we did on the state capitol here in the city of Denver, where we assembled, you know, a bunch of brothers to say that we were going to take responsibility in the areas of education, economics, health, community safety, and village. We picked 5 topics. And from that point, what we wanted to do was we wanted to make sure that we followed up on what we said we were going to do at the Capitol. So each month we've been covering an area. So we've already covered what education and health, and what was the other last thing we did? That was the politics piece. I don't even know what that falls under. Economic. Was that economics? That couldn't have been economics.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't economics. It was something else. What was it?
We had an economic
No,
piece in
no,
there,
it was
didn't
village. It was village. It was village. Yeah, we haven't gotten to the economic piece. So,
okay.
So those meetings were fruitful. They weren't as fruitful, to be quite honest, as I would have liked them to be, in that our goal is to come up with solutions. Straight up. Not saying that we're going to have the solution, but as a group of brothers who lead in the community, Black men who are responsible, we feel as though we should have solutions amongst ourselves that ultimately will lead to the solution. All right. So tonight we got our brother, brother Ahmed Tafidi, who joins us. We're supposed to have another brother. He hasn't joined the call yet, so we're gonna just move on as if you know, like we're supposed to. And we also have my beautiful brother, brother Joel Hodges, who is the what's your title, brother?
I'm just the program director.
The program director. He's so humble. He run that whole joint. He run that whole joint of the Struggle of Love Foundation. So Joel, Joel, he's off work, but he always working. You know what I'm saying? So what I wanted to do is I just wanted to give him the opportunity, since he's here, just to talk about Struggle of Love, what they do with regards to community safety, the solutions that they offer on the regular, because he's actually doing the work. So with no further ado, I'm going to introduce our brother Joe, and I'm going to just put the mic. You can just talk right into it, brother. You don't have to hold it. It should pick up.
Well, I'd rather go by I, if that's cool with everybody. That's fine with me. Cool. The Struggle Love Foundation is an organization I founded about 15, 16, 17 years ago, or whatever. We just been trying to do community, we started off doing community engagement events. We started off years ago with turkeys, Christmas, Father's Day, backpacks, and things like that. So we've been doing those kind of outreach events for about 13, 14 years. Also, we've had our sports and mentoring program going around after school for kind of the kids that couldn't afford to participate on other teams and got left out and stuff like that. We kind of dragged them into the gym and started a sports and mentoring program for those youth that was kind of like myself, just unloved youth, misguided youth, unsupported youth. What else? Just the youth that don't have parents, the youth that don't have a good guidance and stuff like that. So those are the ones we kind of work with, is the rougher edge kind of kids. we've been doing that, and then our program, our Spreading Our Love Mentor and Leadership program is in 7 of the schools in the far northeast of Montbello. Before COVID hit, we had our program in 7 of the schools out there. And we just constantly do the work. We are community violence interruption, and we do secondary prevention as well. So with the violence interruption is what we try to do is if we're called out or community calls out for some aid and assistance, which they get some shootings in the area or someone gets shot, we try to get over there to find out if it's gang involved or what kind of shooting it was, so we can know what kind of angle we could take at this. If it's gang involved, we try to get with some gang members that may can control those situations, and because we can't control those situations unless we are a gang member or affiliated with it, or you know what I'm saying, or a leader of that gang, or someone they look up to. So we try to get those kind of members uh, to, to to roll with us and try to prevent further violence. So that's what the violence interruption is. Secondary prevention is those youth that already have violent charges, gun charges, and stuff that they send them to us, and we try to get them some job training, try to get them some love back in their heart and some self love about themselves to guide them back on the right direction of being nonviolent. Uh, most, most, we all know what all the violence interrupts from. You know, it's probably from mostly our family structure, right? If we don't have proper guidance, then we're not gonna do nothing right, you know. So we just it's kind of a learned behavior, you know. A lot of us want to put stuff on mental health and this and that. Yeah, we have mental health because people drag us into mental health, you know. So drag us into that learned behavior because they suffer from mental health, so they're gonna teach you bad mental health ways because that's what they've been taught and that's what we've been shown as parents for all of us. So we have a little team that we have boots on the ground that patrol it as much as we can with the neighborhood. There's about 5 of us right now, and we try to patrol certain parts of the neighborhood that we know is real hot, and try to just provide our community with resources and different avenues of getting help and letting them know that getting help is not a bad thing. Trying to convince our community that if you do need help, if you're feeling stressed out, reach out to us and we can reach out to someone of your ethnicity, if that's right. I don't know if I said that right. But
yes,
if your same color, your same race, or your same kind of path that you could relate to a little bit more.
yes,
So we do work with them elements of discovery. They're a minority organization of mental health workers that are all Black and Hispanic. So they came up with us and willing to work with anybody that we know free of charge for the first 12 weeks, which, you know, that's a problem for me too, but it's a start, right? So, so that's it. We just out here working, you know what I'm saying, every day of the week, you know. So like, for instance, for the last 3 days, have responded to two different shootings in Montbello and Green Valley Ranch area, right? The last 2 days. That's just counting that little area, right? We're not even counting Colfax, from Quebec all the way through Peoria from 14th to 17th, right? Through
right.
all that whole corridor right here. We got gang of violence going on every minute of the day. It's not counting Park Hill, and that's not counting down on the east side neither, where the violence is still happening. So we just here with anybody, you know what I'm saying, anybody and everybody that's willing to try to help us, our community, make a change, make a difference, and spread some love onto our babies out here that are loveless and lost. So
Awesome. 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 So, so brother, in terms of the outreach, the people, if they want to get in contact, because you're really offering up what we're talking about, which is real solutions. So if the people want to be a part and help out Struggle of Love, where is it that they go? What do they need to do?
you can contact me directly, 720-240-7200. Or I'm right there in the Bellows. I'm right across the street from the police department at 360 Academy. It's 12,000 East 47th Avenue. Right now, we just got the 4th floor, so I'll be up on the 4th floor. I'm putting up in there after hour studio, after hour kind of hangout area for some youth, you know, that in the area that might need a safe place to go to at night if they get in an argument with their step pops that come in drunk, or with their mom that's constantly putting them down, or if they even got nobody there, everybody's at work, so they can come over there, you know what I'm saying, to the Academy 360. We just finally signed that lease. Thanks to God, you know what I'm saying,
Yes,
provide
sir.
us this
What was
spot.
that number again? 720
240
240
7200.
7200.
Yep.
And the address to your spot?
12,000
12,000
East 47th Avenue. And also, we have a food bank there that's open Monday through Friday, 12 to 2 right now. But the hours will change from 9 to 4 once we get everything situated. We'll be open all day Monday through Friday. But right now, we're open Monday through Friday, 12 to 2. So if anybody is in need of food, you can send them right over there. We're outside. We serve it outside as a drive-through. But that's it. If you got some kids that's interested in learning some creative things, some creative art kind of things, send them my way. Jason McBride, he's going to be taking over that kind of department with all the kind of that creative, whatever all this computer stuff is, all this new stuff that they're going to be doing. You know what I'm saying? So all of that's going to be up in there. They're going to have some little some kind of aerospace stuff for people that kids might want to learn how to do pilot, kids that want to know how to make t-shirts, kids that want to know how to make music, kids that want to learn how to do wood shop. We kind of bringing it back to the basics.
Yes, sir.
You know, because a lot of us, we like to work with our hands and stuff like that. So we either, also, I didn't tell Herm this yet, but I will tell Herm and Trav and this right now. I'm putting a barber chair in there so kids can learn how to barber.
Okay.
So if they come out and be taught by y'all, or y'all can give them a little class, you know what I'm saying, they can practice, and there'd be a little another little chair like my wife has over next door with the beauty mat, so women, little girls can come in there and do the same thing. So it's just a little new state of the art kind of boys and girls club, but it's kind of a thugs and girls club. I'm just I just bullshit. But I ain't bullshit. I really ain't bullshit, but I am bullshit. If you understand what I'm saying. You know, so you know, it's try to, you know, we just try to do something, you know, like something we like. You know, some of the kids that like, all of us don't like just the normal kind of things. We're kind of weird, kind of thinking kids. So that's all. We just try to provide something safe for these little babies that, you know, at late at night when they get put out and walk in the streets, they won't kick over a mailbox. Maybe they'll walk over there to the place and get some love. That's about it.
Brother Opstar asked, do you have counseling?
Yes, I have. I personally am trained in tip training. That's trauma informed practices. I am trained in youth mental health first aid and adult mental health first aid. Um, I've trained in ABP, so I can band-aid the wound, right?
Right.
And get you to the right person if it's needed further of assistance. If
Yes,
that makes
sir.
any sense.
Beautiful.
So it's like I'm like nurse,
Beautiful.
ready for the doctor. You know what I'm saying? So
That's what I'm talking about. Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
yeah.
Hey, that's Coach I. That is Coach I, and I put his information in the chat. Again, we're offering solutions, and you heard, brother. He's extremely. Let me put your email.
Struggle love at Comcast.net.
Struggle love.
I said, stop, boy. You hear what I said?
Comcast.net. So we got all the Coach I's information in there. Again, we're offering solutions, right? Like I said, and brother, I could bear witness, man. We fed the homeless right outside the shop here one day. Brother pulled up with a truckload full of food. I couldn't believe how much food. But he's doing the work, and that's the point. That's the point. 1,000 Black men who lead. We're about actually doing the work. We could always talk about the problem. Everybody can point the problem out, but how many of us can come up with viable solutions? That's the question. So we have another brother, and we don't want to keep the brothers on for a long period of time. We just want to get the information. We want to hit it and quit it, as they say, right? So our next brother, I just talked to this brother yesterday, a beautiful brother with a beautiful spirit who really is about this whole community safety piece. I'm gonna just let his qualifications and what he has to say speak for him. This is Brother Ame Tafiti.
Hey y'all, what's going on? Peace to all of you. Happy to see all of y'all on. Thank you, brother, for that last message. I really appreciate that. I definitely want to connect with you some more. You know, even possibly provide some funding resources if you need them. You know, I think what you're doing is great. That's just absolutely wonderful what you're doing for the community. A little background on myself. Grew up here in Colorado my whole life. Started my own business a couple of years ago, a hydroponic store, but I professionally got into safety. You know, I've been a safety specialist, a safety manager, and also a firefighter up in the mountains. So I got a little bit that I would love to add to this safety conversation for the community, so that we can all, you know, start to get some better strategies and some better tactics and how we move forward and make ourselves.
I said
more.
cut it out.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So like my experience comes from my life for the last 10 years, at the very least, has been safety. It has been safety in reference to occupational hazards, as well as providing safety for people up in the mountains from fire and everything else. So what I want to put on your thought just for a minute for all of you who are on is to understand something about safety. In any context, in any place, right? It always comes up as a want, but it is always the way it grows and develops is a need. You know, when you find you have a need, then you find you start doing more things safely. And understand this about safety as well. Safety is a road, right? It is not a destination. You don't just, you know, I'm not sure if any of y'all ever played baseball. It's not my favorite sport, but you know, you don't just make it home and you're safe. No umpire is gonna call you safe, right? It'll be important to transition into the mindset that safety is a road, like perfection. It's always a road. It's not a destination. You'll never just get there, right? You know, so what it takes to be safe in community is taking responsibility for ourselves and our own actions, and all the context of what that means. When I establish a safety program for a company or for a job site or for any place that I go, I always have to look at the employer side. The employer is always responsible for safety. But when we're talking about community safety, we're talking about it in a different context. After I set up a program for safety for an employer or for a set of employees, safety becomes everybody's responsibility. But when we talk about community safety, it can't necessarily work like that. You know, the idea that you say a baby is responsible for itself and its own safety is crazy, right? You know, it's ludicrous. It won't work, right? You know, because the baby doesn't know anything. You know, so similarly, even in the context of mental health, right? You know, sometimes you could use that as an example because people who are mentally unstable or not healthy, you know, and don't have physical safety, right? You know, they don't have the ability to be safe either, right? So where it comes in is what that brother was just talking about, what he's doing with he said the Struggle Love organization, right? You know, it takes us coming together and taking responsibility for ourselves and for our actions. I love everything that brother's doing, everything, because he's doing the work in live and in action, right? You know, from food safety, right? Providing food economics, right? You can't have really safety without having physical safety, right? You know, physical safety is absolutely critical for everybody to be safe. You know, we'll get into some other aspects later, I imagine, going down this process. But I want to put a little bit of data on your minds for a second. In 1896, there was an organization called the National Fireproof Association, right? You know, and what they did was they developed standards for safety around fire and life safety. What I imagine we need in our communities more now than ever is to develop those same standards for ourselves, right? You know, getting with responsible, organized people, right? You know, and thinking strategically and you know, with tactics about how we are going to make ourselves and our own community safe. Like I said before, right? You know, this is a continuous road. We're never just going to get there, right? You know, safety. I want you to keep that in mind, right? Safety is a road. It's not a destination, right? You start to veer off the road, right? Then you possibly going into the unsafe danger zones, right? You know, but the idea and the mentality that I think we all can embrace is that if we stay on the road and stay a course, right? And we all are staying vigilant, staying situationally aware, you know, staying responsible for ourselves and for those who are around us, right? You know, then we can start to develop not only the mentality, but also the state of being, the state of well-being. But it starts with the mind first, right? You know, so one of the helpful tips that I wanted to add for this conversation tonight was the aspect with the police. When we talk about safety for our communities, the police are only a small factor. The police don't keep us safe. Historically, they've never done that, right? You know, historically, if you look at community safety, you've got a set of different factors, but the police are just one factor. Not saying that they can't keep you safe, and not saying that their job isn't to be safe, but there are conflicts and complications. So what I want you to keep in mind as you're moving down the road, I'll give you my own personal experience so that I can keep the data out of it for the moment. I had a 1991 Honda Prelude years ago that I was driving, had clear windows. I got stopped 4 times a year, easy. Always following all the traffic rules, always following all the rules of the road, right? You know, never veering off any of them. But I never got a ticket, right? You know, never got a ticket, hadn't received a ticket, you know, have one of the cleanest driving records ever. Years later, I got a 2008 Honda Civic that had shaded windows. And you can see another incident of this in Florida, a Florida state attorney. You can look it up. It's about a minute and 37-second YouTube clip. She gets pulled over with shaded windows, but the police couldn't see who she was. When they can't see who you are, they have less reason to pull you over, right? You know, so the only reason I bring that up is just from a standpoint of moving down the road safely without being harassed. That helped me tremendously. When I got my window shaded for my Honda Civic, it was unbelievable. I couldn't believe I didn't get stopped or pulled over at all. Matter of fact, I got stopped one time in my Honda Civic car. And when he pulled me over and I rolled down the window, he looked at me immediately and said, "You're not who I'm looking for." He got back in his car and he rode off, right? You know, so that's just one helpful tip I want to add to the group discussion for tonight is please shade your windows, right? It makes a big difference because if they can't see you, then they really can't pull you over, right? You know, they have no reason. They have no reason if you are following all the traffic laws, right? You know, there's nothing else for them to add to suspicion. And police, by their nature, are highly suspicious. You know, we could talk about that later. But, you know, I want to re-emphasize what that brother was talking about before with violence and mental health security. I liked what he was talking about. And something else I would like to add to what he was saying was, if you have trouble convincing people to get mental health assistance and mental health help, tell them this, or say something like this to them. You didn't get to your position or to your dysfunction by yourself. Somebody did some damage, or something happened to you in your life that got you there. So reasonably, if you didn't get there by yourself, you can't get out by yourself. So get help, get resources, right? That's what they're there for. The community's there to support and help each other. So I just wanted to add that piece because I thought it was great what that brother was talking about in reference to keeping the community safe and doing different steps to keep the community safe. Something else I would like to add as well. Being a firefighter, we work with the police all the time in all sorts of different contexts and all sorts of different areas and scenarios and situations. And there are all sorts of different codes. And I'm going to give you one code right now of something that I think could help. Worst case scenario, you have to get the police involved, right? Something's going on with you and a loved one or a girlfriend or whatnot. But you don't want any violence, but you want a smooth transition, whether it's moving out or picking up your kids or something like that. They have something called a civilian standby. Civilian standby allows the police to get the code, right, come to a location, but not come with their weapons and their guns and all that other stuff drawn, right? Now they know that it's a civilian issue. It's not, there's nothing to police or to enforce or to hold up, right? Again, if you think with the mentality, police are highly suspicious, right? You don't want to give them, and also highly fearful. You don't want to give them any extra added reason to add to escalating a situation, right? They should be experts at de-escalation, but we can talk about that later. But the main thing, the other added thing I wanted to add to that, right? And take that note down if you can. Civilian standby, right? That's something, if you need police in hand or something on effect, ask for that, right? Worst case scenario. But the other mentality that I wanted to add to this conversation, the other thing I wanted to add to this group was the aspect of understanding what the police are and how to handle and how to deal with them from a community standpoint. We have right now in technology, when you cook your food, all sorts of different ways to heat it. You can heat it with a microwave, you can heat it with a stove, you can heat it with the oven, right? So you have all these new ways of handling heat, right? We don't have to go in and make a fire and add a fire to your household. If you start to think of the police more as a hazard rather than as a solution, right? And the reason I say think of them as a hazard, if you think of them as a hazard, then you have to think in the context of how you can control that hazard, right? The hazard being the police themselves, right? You would never invite a fire into your house uncontrolled. That doesn't make any sense. That would be unwise, right? So similarly, like I said, when it comes to warming up our food or anything like that, we have modernized techniques. We're going to start to have the same techniques socially when we call and deal with the police, right? Tactically knowing exactly where we need them, how we need them, and what we need them for, instead of just blindly calling them for any situation like mental health, right? They're not really good at mental health, right? In many instances, firefighters are also paramedics and medically certified, right? So they can deliver a quality health check. And I didn't know that before I became a firefighter. I had no idea that, firefighters could have all these different resources and they could provide the same amount of support without the possibility of losing your loved ones in the process. And I know this from experience because in the mountains, the fire department is the department that's called to the scene for most issues. And most of our calls are medical. Most of them are always medical. So That's another thing. If you are calling dispatch or in need of help or need of assistance, I would like to have more training down the line. Again, remember, safety is a road. It is not a destination. It requires continuous training to stay on the road so that we can move forward in keeping our community safe, right? That's going to be like physical safety. That's going to be mental health awareness, situational awareness, and different trainings that we're going to want to start to apply. But it starts right now. It starts right now with all of us on this call being able to take responsibility for ourselves and for our environments. It never starts with the police or with legislators or any of those other different factors. Like I was saying, with the 1986 National Fire Protection Association, that started when people recognized we need to develop something around safety. That wasn't the police. That wasn't any of these legislative organizations. That was people coming together and making the steps for themselves to say, we want to make our community better. We want to make it safer. How do we do that? So yeah, with that, I'll leave it open for any questions, any concerns. My number, best way to get in contact with me is directly from my phone line. My number is 303-478-8580. Would love to connect and talk and organize with any of you. Especially you, brother, in reference to some of the community developments that you're talking about. I think it would be a wonderful opportunity if they could get into the fire service. That will allow access to understanding how systems work and how to be more tactical and coordinated as we move forward, trying to make our communities safer. And that's about it.
Man, that's beautiful, brother. That's beautiful. Beautiful information, man. Listen, brother, I'll start ask the question, are you a part or are you ready? Or are you a part of the Are You Ready by FEMA? Prepare for disasters. That's a disaster preparedness course.
Yeah, I've done some of the trainings with FEMA. I'm not currently a part of it right now, but I have done some of the trainings with it before. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I am familiar. Yeah, with the federal emergency. Absolutely, I'm familiar with them.
Awesome. So some points that brother Ame made, and we can ask questions. Brother Ishmael's in the building. Man, I see the brothers is joining on. Tint your windows.
It helps. It helps. Experience.
When you really think about it.
I got a question for that brother.
Go ahead.
Would you be interested in putting together a kind of a little manual of do's and don'ts for our community? Because everything you were saying is like do's and don'ts. So would you be interested in working together to put something together like that we can pass out to our little young community and even everybody, the whole? Yeah. Because I think that was two of those things I didn't know, right? So you just educated me just that quick. How many more brothers and sisters don't know this information about how to act, what to do if the police fuck with you, what to do in any situation, who to call or what? So yeah, man, I'm just amazed at what's on this phone call, on this Zoom meeting, because if we really start working, if we really make a commitment together to say whatever it is, we're going to stand by each other and fight, through everything, we can really make a difference right now. 2021 is our year, really to step up as a Black community, as an underprivileged community, as a hurting community, and show them that it is some men out here that's ready to step up and take the lead and be fathers and be uncles and be brothers to those ones that don't have those type of things in their lives. Because that's what we're missing, is just the men. The men just are not here to educate us, not here to teach us right. Man, that's just so much information.
That was beautiful, man. That was beautiful. And the other things that brother mentioned, which were huge in my view, was the civilian standby concept, as well as thinking of police as a hazard. And you know, as black men, hell, if we don't know that by now, there's something wrong with us. You know what I'm saying? Think of police as a hazard as opposed to being people who are coming to save you. They don't ever come to save us.
No.
Ever.
No,
You know what I'm saying? It's always with a mind that is suspicious. Right. So that's brother Ahmed Tafidi. His number is 303. I put it in the chat, 478-8580. So make sure you get his number. What else did I want to ask? You guys have said so much, man. And while I have the mighty FY joining the call, it brings me to what I believe Brother Willie was going to talk about. And I don't know what happened to my brother. I got to check on him, make sure he's all right. But we just got a few minutes left on this Zoom. What Brother Willie was going to build upon, and while we're in the barbershop tonight, is the concept of conflict resolution. That's another huge piece in the Black community, especially amongst our young people. So with that regard, we have to realize our role. Like most of the brothers on this call, you know what I'm saying? We in our 40s, we in our 50s. These youngsters is calling us OGs now. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird, but but it is what it is, right? But we're still young enough. We're at the perfect age though, because we're old enough to where we got some wisdom, right? Mad wisdom, because we done been on these streets. We done seen what happened. We know how to deal. But we're still young enough to where, goddamn it, I could still fight.
That's right.
You dig what I'm saying? So whatever you want to do, how you want it. How do you want it? Do you want it with these, or do you want it with these?
You sure ain't lied about that.
Yes, sir. That's right. That's right.
And that's real talk, man. So with regards to conflict resolution, as men, especially the barbershop is a place where, and we're filming live from Supreme Style Barbershop, the greatest barbershop in the land.
Yes, sir.
The barbershop is the place where you know, barbers are well respected, man. Barbers are role models in the community. Barbers are businessmen. It's a safe place where everybody can come. So we get doctors, we get lawyers, we get gangsters, we get killers, we get any and everybody come through the barbershop, right? So with that in mind, these spaces, if we know of somebody who's beefing, we don't ever want to initially, and this is just training that I've received during my time in the Nation of Islam, bring together warring parties without an agreement first, right? But what we can do is, as men in the community, is if we know that one brother got beef with another brother and we know that they could escalate to killing, we want to talk to those individuals one-on-one.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Talk to those individuals one-on-one. See where they at. See if there is room for atonement and reconciliation and forgiveness.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then once we find out where they're at, then we want to bring those parties together.
No doubt.
Right.
After they agree to come together. You know what I'm saying? We don't ever want to spring nothing on nobody. And, you know, it's like, and we learned this, like I said, we older brothers. You always want to get these brothers to where they don't have their crew with them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They don't have none of them, none of their cheerleaders, none of them dudes amp them up, none of their hype men.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Put them in a room one-on-one so we can see what really is, what really is.
Yes, sir. That's right.
We can bring peace. It's really not that hard. But we can't be afraid to go amongst these people. That's the thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
After the food bank, we said, no, it wasn't last night, it was Saturday. It was 21st when we did the turkey giveaway. We had a whole meeting from 5:30 to about 8 o'clock with two families.
Yes, sir.
Right there in the office. But
Yes,
at
sir.
the end, everybody ended up crying. Everybody hugged. And probably it took a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And on that note, it's just we just have to realize that with regards to our people and their ability to solve conflicts, to resolve conflicts, a lot of times we've never been taught how to resolve a conflict. Ever. And that goes to, and that lends to the community no longer being safe, because when you have an immature person, you know what I'm saying, who has a hot attitude and got access to a pistol, it's gonna be some problems. So it's about really teaching these brothers, really sitting down and talk to them. Like a lot of these young men, you know what I'm saying, they've never talked to a man.
Never.
So if you talk to them, not in a berating type of way, but as a big brother, you know what I'm saying, and tell them what they should be doing and how they should be doing, they'll receive that. But again, we have to be willing to go out in the streets and do this.
Let's triple underline that part.
Exactly.
Because the solution is simple.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is there's not enough to go and do the solution.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's the issue is we got to be able to go and do it. I've asked anybody, if you just take 10, fuck, try to say you're going to do this, just get 10 kids, 10 families, and say, I'm going to take care of these 10 families like they my own. So if you get 1,000 men to do that, you taking care of how many people?
Oh my goodness.
10 times 1,000, I don't know how much that is, maybe 100,000, something like that.
That's 10,000. That's big.
But
that's
you got
big.
10,000 of our people that you know, that you securely taking their fed, their clothes, you on top of their education. I mean, it's gonna be a hard task to take on adopted 10 people. But you gotta stay with those people all the way to their 24, 25 years old. See,
he's talking about that real work right there. He's talking about that real work. So, and he's in it. That's why he has a foundation that's about that. He's in that work. But as men, and we got all men on the call. I love these type of calls.
Brother Herman,
go ahead.
Let me say, the key to that, man, and studying the minister and how he's so effective at correcting, because that's all that we're trying to do is to correct behaviors. We have to be able to use the 3 C's, man. We gotta be able to talk to them without criticizing them or complaining or condemning them.
That's right.
For anything that they're doing.
That's right.
If we can do that, they'll be able to take the correction.
Praise be to Allah. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And you all, Brother James remembers a few years back, there was a lot of violence going on in the community amongst these little young brothers, these little street organizations. And we did a thing for weeks to where every week we would go out in the community, and we call it 100 Black Men Marching. You know what I'm saying? We would just go door to door and talk to the people.
Yes, sir.
Talk to the people.
Yes, sir.
People looking at us like we crazy, and it's like, no, man, this is what has to be done in order for these young people to know that actually that the community even cares. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the brothers of the FY do that on the regular. The brothers of the FY do that on the regular, but we don't do it as much as we should be doing it, because if we doing it as much as we should be doing it, there wouldn't be no violence in the community at all.
Come on, that's right.
When you go out,
that's right. That's right, brother. We're gonna take full responsibility.
Absolutely.
That's right. We do
absolutely. So this is like, I'm loving this, man, because we running up on time. I got a little tear in my eye. Y'all can't see. I got these big ass aviator glasses on. But but the reality is, man, we offering solutions, right? And that's what we came up with. That this is productive, and this is where we want to be with all of these types of meetings, because we have our brother Ame Tafidi's information. We got brother Coach I's information. And so now wherever they need help, we can help.
We can help.
You know what I'm saying? And so we have to be, like I said, the thing is just a willingness to help. We know what to do. Most of us on this call have been trained. You know what I mean? We talk about community safety. Every brother on this call that I'm looking at got some training with regards to community safety.
Yes, sir.
Brother Afsar is he's the emergency management man. And we're gonna have to, you know what I'm saying, have a call dealing with that as well, because what happens in the event of a real emergency? I mean, hell, we in it right now, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
COVID-19 is a real emergency, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But you know, Allah is merciful, and so it don't seem like it, but that's exactly where we at. We're in an emergency situation right now. But man, I want to thank all the brothers who came on this call. Again, I don't want to keep you long. We just wanted to, like I said, hit it and quit it, give you some good information, and then get off. So, but I will allow, if any of you brothers have any questions or comments or concerns that you want to.
Yeah, I do. I have one.
Get off. Brother,
Yes, I have one.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother.
The brother stated that he does almost like a door-to-door thing sometime during the week. I wonder, can we coordinate our detail with his detail, and that would give us more presence on the street in that particular area, and we can work well with him in that area. Is there any way we can?
Beautiful. That's so big, brother Afsar. Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
a good idea. Good
And we'll just
idea.
put brother James in contact with
Yes, sir. That's right.
and we'll coordinate that.
Yes, sir.
And one more for, what's his, Ahmed? Is that Ahmed?
Amen.
Brother,
Amen.
Ahmed.
Amen.
We are now, Ahmed. All right, come on now. I'm country now. Let me get through this. Y'all get him off of me.
All right.
But anyway, Brother David is a certified FCC. He has his license now to be a ham operator. And we're trying to get people to join this communication, because when communication goes down, we got to be a way of communicating. So we're starting a emergency management communication piece. I just got my ham operator, where I've been having a couple of days. I got somebody else involved, and I got 4 more girls that want to get their radio, Brother David, and join as a club and create a club where we can communicate throughout the community. What do you think about that, man?
I think that's a great idea. You know, so in the fire service up in the mountains, the way they are able to survive, because it's all volunteer. Everybody's volunteering in the mountains. Nobody's getting paid for the most part. So the way they survive is kind of by what you're talking about, and having an auxiliary, right? The auxiliary is the support people who come in, right? So yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Okay. We'll let you know about the next conference call we have, and I'll invite you on that one.
Yeah, please do.
Because we should have spinoffs from here. Everybody should go somewhere and come back with somebody.
Come on.
I'm just saying.
That's beautiful,
Yeah.
man. That's beautiful.
It's a great idea. Great idea.
That's what I'm talking about. Anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns?
Brother Bates he's talking, but he's muted.
He good.
You gotta unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
He's just getting excited over here, man.
Who's that?
Brother Bates.
Brother Bates.
He's sitting right next to me. You know, he incognito. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay, my bad.
Anybody else?
Brother Derek.
Yes, sir, Brother Derek.
Yes, sir. I'm just listening to Brother Me, and he's a firefighter, and I know in his training that when he pulls up on a scene or situation, he focusing on what's the most point that we should focus on. And there's a bunch of things we need to do in the community, but as black men, as stuff happens in the situation, we know we should do this, we know we should do that. But as men, we should focus on what needs to be hit first. That's what I'm trying to say. Just like when brother pulls up on a fire scene, he don't go put out the little ashes, he puts out the fire that's burning right now.
Right.
So like I was saying, get information to the brothers that don't know, because I really appreciate what you told us about the civilian standby. and the police being a hazard, all that is good information that not only myself but my family members and brothers don't know about that can bring down to stop the conflict that we have among the people that's supposed to protect us. So we have to be all right. So I just was wondering if there's something going on that we can focus on that instead of be spread all the way around, that this needs to be done, that needs to be done, this needs to be done.
Yes, sir.
First step was
Beautiful.
But can we have a workshop on that? Can he just do a workshop and we invite everybody we can to that workshop?
No doubt. I'm working on it. I'm definitely working on getting a program ready, so they can be more clear, more concise, and also you can get some more information. Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and brother Ahmed was laying down some jewels, man. The one that sticks with me is that safety is a road, not a destination.
That's right. That's right.
Always traveling. You know what I'm saying? We always moving towards that. So that's a beautiful thing, man.
So I have
The one that stuck with me, Brother Herman, is roll that damn window up.
Put a 10 on.
Hit the windows.
Check the windows.
Hit your windows, man.
Roll them down.
Shade them. Shade your windows. All right, brothers. Well, man, this has been beautiful, man. It's been beautiful, and like I was saying, this has been productive. I'm really pleased with what we came out with tonight.
There's Bates, man. Bates just not getting in here. Where's he been?
Consensus.
Chilling. Herman. Herman. Where's our leader been, man?
Bates is a boss, man. He's just a shot caller. You know what I'm saying? Do his thing.
Yeah.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, brothers, man. I love you all, man.
Yes, sir.
Chris X called me, man. All right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So, family, that's it, man. Thank you all for coming on. We'll definitely keep you informed on when the next Zoom is gonna happen. I think that's gonna be economics. I think we're running up on economics. Y'all know that's my deal. So, man, I want to thank you all for coming on, man, taking your precious time, man. I love you, brothers. We'll catch you all.
Love you too.
One. Peace.
Peace out.
Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.
Salam.
Yes, sir.
I'm a DJ in your town, looking for direction, matter of fact the produce section. Can I get more? On the way to school, walking by the prison door, plus 2 liquor stores and a dog park. Talk about an eyesore when the post park. Have you ever seen a collard green when it grow up? No, show enough, but why they